Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Continental Championship Wrestling discussion. And he is back. Mitch Lucas is back with us as the host of Continental Championship Wrestling discussion. And Mitch, welcome back to the Continental Championship Wrestling discussion.
Well, I'm glad to be back. In fact, I would have been here last week, but our power company out here in Texas had other ideas after we had an ice storm. So several dollars of lost meat and cheese and frozen pizzas later, I look a little rough, but I'm here.
Well, let's get started, Mitch. June 29th, 1985.
Let's roll with it. Yeah, let's go.
Well, the show opened up with Gordon Soley and Ron Fuller, and he introduced Mr. Class. Mr. Class is Ken Timms under a mask. Mitch, tell me a little bit about what you thought about Mr. Class.
Okay, you know what? I like the gimmick. I thought it was a good way to refresh Ken Timms. I thought that he worked real well in the program, the feud that he did with Tommy Rich, the kind of a mini feud. I will say this. I can't speak for everybody else, but I can speak for me. I knew instantaneously that it was Ken Timms, but I didn't know if, kind of like Wink Wink with Jerry Stubbs and Mr. Olympia, and then later on the Bullet and Bob Armstrong. I didn't know if it was supposed to be that kind of deal because they play on TV, on the program, and in the arenas, they played it straight. They never acted like it was Ken Timms. I don't remember Ken Timms' name even being mentioned in accordance to Mr. Class. So I actually thought it was a good look for him. My only regret is that he didn't stretch it out a little bit.
Well, Rodney, the first match was Mr. Class. Ron Fuller introduced him because Boomer Lynch got hurt. I think legitimately got hurt, didn't he?
Oh, I don't know. All I know, he was gone.
But we go right to the ring. Mr. Class goes against Pork Chop Cash. Rodney, what did you think about the match?
Tremendous, good response from the crowd. I noticed that right off the bat. And Pork Chop just done that great monkey flip coming right out of the bat. I mean, just fantastic. And the thing about it is that Pork Chop's a great wrestler. He was a great talent. He of course he was there in 85 after the situation with the Bruise brothers fell through. Troy Graham's got his leg hurt, and so he couldn't wrestle anymore. But Pork Chop was a great talent. And of course, in the end of this match is Ron Fuller getting his, as Pork Chop tries for a second monkey flip, he snatches hold of the Mr. Class's tights, holds him in the corner. He goes back, and then it's the elbow smash for Mr. Class. It's 1, 2, 3, a handful of tights too. That's always a good little top off there. Just get you a handful of tights. People were definitely into this. And then we go right straight to the questionable video. I'm not sure why they really showed this. Ron Fuller, and this was from Knoxville, and he was with the Mongolian Stomper, Don Carson, and all that. I don't quite get why we saw that. I really don't, but maybe they needed something for the filler. What did you think about that, Mitch?
Well, let me ask you this before we move on too much on Mr. Class. First of all, I guess I know this is what's done and figured out. Mr. Class was going to get instant heat because of being with Ron Fuller and his group. Right. Let me, as a fan, ask this. Now, I don't know if you guys, how much you know about I know you know about SEC football, but I don't know how much you know about Mississippi State. A few years back, Mississippi State had a football player, and his nickname was Pork Chop. His last name was Womack, and Pork Chop got drafted. He went to the NFL, and he told everybody that his mother called him Pork Chop after Pork Chop Cash. That's where he got his nickname. Awesome. I don't think Pork Chop is in the NFL anymore. I think he maybe played, somebody can check me, but I think he maybe played for the Philadelphia Eagles for a while. But let me ask you, was it just another time to go, or why did we not see more of Pork Chop Cash? Does either one of you know?
Well, I would assume it was time for him to move on because he had been there already already been there almost a year at this point because I know he was there when we left to go to Mid-South. He just came in. Him and Austin Idol was against those two big Bruise brothers. We loved those guys.
Yeah.
He should have done more with them. But, yeah, I think it was just his time to move on.
Well, I think Pork Chop, I think he left, didn't he, and went back. I think he came to Mid-South Wrestling, didn't he? Him and
right, Mad Dog Boyd.
Mad Dog Boyd, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
I don't
right
know
after the special on Ron Fuller. Ron Fuller was back out there again, interviewing. He was doing an interview. I don't think Mr. Class said anything, but the Flame and Jimmy Golden certainly did.
Yes, they did. Well, and anytime you put a microphone in the hands of, let's just say it, the Flame, the Assassin #1, his various identities, I'll be honest, there's probably not 10 people in the history of the business that I'd rather hear it. I call them interview, not promo. I had rather hear the Flame, Jody Hamilton, the Assassin, any number of names you want to call him. He made it real to me. That's and I don't want to sound like the convention's still real to me, but he made it real, and so did Jimmy Golden. They were very good, both of them. In fact, everybody in the stable. I guess maybe they didn't want Mr. Class to talk because of the Ken Timms thing. But they were everybody that was associated with the stable at one point. Jerry Stubbs ended up being associated with the stable. Obviously, Dr. Tom Pritchard, when he was Dr. Tom and coming out with later on the next year with Robert Fuller and Jimmy Golden that we've talked about on this program before. I loved anytime Jody Hamilton got the microphone. Especially, it just seemed like it was just kind of like mashed potatoes and gravy or ice cream and chocolate when him and Bob Armstrong got together.
Yeah, it was always good stuff. Then Jason Walker, Rodney went against Bill Ash. I'm going to tell you, this was a good match.
This was an awesome match. Showed that Jason Walker could do something, and he really did. And Bill Ash, I think right now, as far as if we look at 1985, Continental Championship Wrestling at this point could have matched up against anybody. I'm talking with Jim Crockett Promotions and with Mid-South. I mean, and we're covering both all three. But right now, I think Continental on this show proves, and with this quality of match, United States Junior Championship, it wasn't a squash, and Bill Ash showed exactly why he was, one of the top. And if you'll notice, the response he gets when he comes to the ring, I always go with crowd response, was awesome. Absolutely awesome, just as much as just about anybody else on the card. And of course, at the desk at the same time was a nightmare. Doing some expert commentary, you have to say, and still rubbing it in. Where's Johnny? We got to find Johnny. Where's Johnny? They're just awesome. They were just
I'm not
awesome.
sure what was used more, where's Johnny or where's the beef in 1985. That was both about the same time. Let me ask this. This is another fan question. They seem to really, the promotion really seemed to like Jason Walker. I'm not sure of his background, but what got around in the arenas was that he had a neck issue. And I believe on one match that we're going to see when we keep on watching this, in late 85, early 86, and I don't have my magic binder that's got all the dates in front of me. I forgot to bring it. But he and Adrian Street have a fantastic match. Before Street goes space against Fuller and Golden and then Rip Rogers, he and Jason Walker have a fantastic match. Every time Jason Walker got in there, he seemed to give a pretty good account of himself every single time.
Yeah, I don't know why Jason didn't get a bigger push. But was he from Birmingham?
I thought he was. I thought that's how they introduced him, as being from Birmingham, Alabama, as opposed to Mike Fever's great from anywhere but Birmingham, Alabama, if you remember Mike Fever doing that.
Well, after that, Scott Armstrong, Bill Ash did an interview. I guess they were talking about Birmingham or wherever they were going to be wrestling at. And then Paul Barnett goes against Jimmy Golden. Mitch, I don't know that I've ever seen, maybe never before, maybe never after this. Maybe you can remember this. But Jimmy Golden come off the top rope with a drop kick.
He did it. He did it in '87 when they were doing the only other time I remember. And the reason I remember is because the guy's name was Jimmy Carter, like the former president. And Gordon Soley kept saying, obviously not related to the former president. And it was a singles match. And Robert Fuller was in his corner and he drop kicked Jimmy Carter. That's the only other time I remember. I thought for a minute you were going to talk about Jimmy Golden and the stable and what would lead up to be, well, I don't want to spoil it. There may be people out here that haven't seen it. I don't know how much. We hadn't talked about spoilers much, but pretty shortly, Jimmy Golden's not long for this for TV for a little while, which I always thought was strange. I in the hottest part of the time, he went. That may have been a personal deal. I'm not sure, but Jimmy kind of went away for a little bit, and it ended up being Ron Fuller and Robert against the Bullet and the Armstrongs.
Hey, maybe the drop kick did them in.
Maybe.
Very rarely did that.
This again was really good.
Yeah.
Jimmy had a match with Paul Barnett, which we haven't got to see again. Again, it shows that these guys can do something if you give it to them. And I thought the top rope was quite a surprise to me. I forgot he had done that.
I don't want to sound like Conrad Thompson, but he's funny. But was reckon the Paul Barnett thing a rib? Wasn't the promoter's name Paul Barnett?
There was a Jim Barnett.
It was Jim Barnett. That's right.
There's a Jim Barnett that wrestles on Continental Championship Wrestling.
Yes, that's right.
After that, Steve Armstrong does an interview, and they show an interview pre-recorded with Tommy Rich, getting ready to go against the Nightmares. I think individually, I don't think they were going to team with each other. Then another interview with Ron Fuller and the Flame going over a tape from Dothan, Alabama. What a crowd that was.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, Continental back then, Rodney alluded to it, but especially those early TVs at Boutwell, man, y'all had it rocking and rolling. Ron, when he told us, when we interviewed him several months back, that the reason that he took it to Boutwell to tape was because it would look so much better, he thought, with so many people. Well, he hit on that, and from what I know, Dothan always had a big crowd.
Well, that was a great what they did to Bob Armstrong. Right, I'll let you go over that exactly what they did during this, because Bob Armstrong does win the Continental title, but he gets beat up at the end of it.
And that's right, and it's as Ron Fuller tying his hand to the top rope, the Flame comes in. He and Jimmy Golden hold him out. And the Flame burns him not once, but twice in the arm, not in the face, but in the arm. And now he's coming up with
what a good angle most every promotion does the burn in the face. Even Continental did it later on with Austin Idol and Eddie Gilbert. But they burn the arm of all places, of which obviously Bob, from then on out, we even see him on TV a few times wearing heavy bandages on his arm. And, of course, I think Robert Fuller accuses him, or no, it ain't Robert, because it's Ron Fuller accuses him of wearing the bandages on the wrong arm on TV and acting like he's not hurt and that kind of thing. But that was just a good angle instead of the face, because then they could milk it for, they're going after the hurt arm and tearing the bandages off and around the towns, which was fantastic.
Well, Bob wins the title, but he loses it on television. I love the way they did this. This was tremendous. The Flame goes to load his mask. He gets away from him. Bob kind of runs, and then he hits him and Bob's telling him the whole time he's got something in his mask. He got something in his mask. He grabs the headlock. Then he hits him with it. I thought it was tremendous. This is what you call great finishes. Don't y'all, Mitch, don't you agree that this was a great way?
I agree, and it set up a lot from then on out. They established that, and even carrying it into El Fuego later on in 1986, they continued that. And then, of course, everybody remembered when when the Flame beat Bob Armstrong for the Continental title, and everybody remembered that finish. I will say this: if Jody had not had such a strong run. I do think that him being the assassin is what everybody remembers. But, man, what a run he had in Continental as the Flame.
Well, after they did this, everybody came out, didn't they, Rodney?
Yes, they filled it up. Bob, of course, lost. And again, you have to remember, this is experience on display. Bob Armstrong, Jody Hamilton, Ron Fuller. It is experience. That's how come this turned out beautiful. Absolutely turned out beautiful. And then at the end, here the Flame is standing over Bob with the belt. Bob grabs a hold of the belt. He comes up and he nails the Flame. And I mean, they start filling the ring up. They had Mr. Class out there. Jimmy Golden's out there. Here comes Pork Chop Cash. Here comes Austin Idol. It was just great. The people were, I mean, that place was rocking. And I believe in the next match, they've even rocked some more. If you don't,
I'm saying that they closed the show with Lord Humongous and Ron Fuller. Lord Humongous was over.
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was.
You know, but look at the time they took. For those fans that don't remember, they took a long time to get him over. It was at least 6 weeks to get him over. I see Mitch is moving around.
Yeah, I'm losing I had something happen to my power, but I'm with you.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, that was super. The interview with Bob, Pork Chop, Humongous, Austin Idol. They're talking about the 8-man tag team matchup coming up, and they're also talking about the 2-ring Triple Chance Battle Royals.
So again, let me ask this. I know he's also about to take a break. Again with Austin, was it just time for him to maybe he had been working Alabama for quite a while in Southeastern and just decided he wanted to go back to Memphis, or was there anything that kind of pushed him that way? And I don't want to step on I don't want to get into anything personal. I'm assuming it was just time to.
I think it was time for him to go because I believe by that time he had been there almost 2 years.
Yes.
Yeah, he definitely was there in 84 and 85, the early part of 85 in Southeastern.
And well, I mean,
I think he'd been there a long time. So it was time.
And the key is here at the end. Right, and the key at the end of the program is that Gordon announces next week we're going to start seeing Adrian Street. Right. Tommy Rich is going to be here. Brad Armstrong returns, and also Robert Fuller. So there has to be somebody's slot's got to be taken, and it's Austin Idol, and later on it'll be Pork Chop Cash.
Let me ask another stupid question. Who at this point was it? Ronnie? Who was doing the booking? Was it Bob and Robert Fuller, or do you guys remember that?
I think it was Ron Fuller.
Okay. And the reason I asked that is because what a smart move to put Adrian Street against Austin Idol right from the get-go, because Austin was so popular and so over. I try to explain to people that have never seen Continental that we didn't really see much of a heel Austin Idol. Well, we didn't see one at all in Continental. He was he continued his babyface good guy role from Southeastern on into Continental. Then he went away for a while, comes back in 88, just in time for the CWF run. But people in Memphis fans have to see it to believe it. They're, I guess, used to Austin Idol and the run against Jerry Lawler with Tommy Rich and all that. But they didn't really get into fan favorite Austin Idol. I actually like Austin Idol better on TV and in the arena as a fan favorite. I guess he was just a natural heel, but I liked him better in this role against the stable and Adrian Street.
I know most people in the dressing room didn't like him, so
yeah.
Maybe that was just the reason he did it.
And he lived in Pensacola, his boy and his wife and son. Son goes to school, so yeah, I'm sure that's part of the reason we saw him in the position that he was in.
Well, Austin Idol was very good, and Austin Idol was over in Southeastern Championship Wrestling and eventually Continental Championship Wrestling. Mitch, thank you so much for being a part of this. We will do this once again next week as we talk about whatever that next July, whatever the next date is, July something, 1985. That's
July the 6th, maybe July 7th.
And Mitch, it is great to have you back. And we'll get in the flow of things here in the next few weeks. Rodney, thank you so much. And thank you for being a part of the Continental Championship Wrestling discussion. If you enjoyed this video, give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to the page. Go one step further, hit that notification bell. Until the next Continental Championship Wrestling discussion, this is Brett West. And on behalf of Rod D. West and Mitch Lucas, thank you so much.